You're listening to AchtungMillwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Welcome, dear listeners. Welcome to the Den. It's a packed house. Carpe diem, seize the day, says the London Evening Standard. What a situation you find us in. Millwall need a win. That's all we need. A win, and we're into the shootout for the playoffs. The prize of the Premier League at the top table there, dear listeners. Your Millwall side just about to enter the pitch. Changes in the, I think, in the formation. George Long's in goal. We've got back line, I believe, Callum Stiles, Jake Cooper, Sean Hutchinson, Danny Mack returning to the side. George Saville, Billy Mitch in front of that back four. Duncan Watmore, Zian Fleming player of the season in the midfield three. Oliver Burke in the attacking three. Tom Bradshaw up front. It's a gunfight at the Zampa Road Corral, dear listeners. I am your Huckleberry. Welcome to AchtungMillwall. My name is Nick Hart and I've already had one. You're in my seat, mate. It's a packed house. The place is rocking, as you can probably tell behind me. Blackburn also need a win, listeners. Let's not forget. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. They're on -3 goal difference, but a win for them, they would leave them needing other teams to, drop points for them. Sunderland, Coventry being the other two contenders. But from the Millwall perspective, a draw's no good, loss certainly no good, but a win puts us in with a shot at the big time. 18,000 crowd, I believe. It looks it's the sellout. Place is packed. Block 1 is packed. Been a long while coming, this match, dear listeners. How's it been for you? I've been itchy and scratchy increasingly as the week's gone along. Yesterday was like waiting for the dental appointment. Here we are. It's a grey, overcast afternoon. A little bit of rain in the air, but not much. Blackburn Rovers dressed in a kind of a fuchsia pink. Millwall, of course, in traditional blue and white. Monster noise, monster noise. And past lives, listeners, I have been on the centre of the pitch, not on a match day. For the Lions Trust Cup, the sense of being overpowered by the four stands around you is really quite intense. On a full house with a fired up crowd, I don't know, it would be very, very intimidating. Blackburn will have to be playing at their max to ride out there, so I think that will be their tactic. Gary Rowett, in one of his pre-match interviews, expects them to dominate the ball, as he put it. This is an interview with the London News Online. He expects them to dominate the ball, pick possession. And if the day needed any more ramping up, we've now got a performance of the national anthem. I believe the lady's name is Jay Britton, partner of one of the, I think it's Danny O'Callaghan. I don't know what that's all about. Performance, spine tingling, listeners, spine tingling. I presume there was some comment from the Blackburn end now. I don't know, I didn't see it. I can't see it where I stand. I've got the side of the West Upper right by me. There we are, dear listeners, enough talking. Carpe diem. Seize the day. Millwall will be attacking the away end in the first half as per the instructions of the Venerable Bede. Incidentally, now that instruction was carved on that enthronement chair. I don't know if you looked. The coronation enthronement chair, if you have a look, some of the graffiti carved in the 16th and 17th centuries did actually say Millwall must attack the away end in the first half. Noise in here is getting me scrambled, dear listeners. We are underway, however. Free kick Millwall. What more copping it here on the left? Inside the first minute still. Early chance for the Lions to dig the ball into the middle. Styles to take it. Floats it rightwards. There's Jake Cooper on the edge of the penalty. The ball's bouncing around in the middle. It's Tom Bradshaw. Opportunity there for Burke. The shot was blocked. Almost broke there for a moment. 1.5 minutes. This is Watmore now. It's a frenetic start by the Lions. Watmore keeps possession on the right side. That's going to go for a Millwall throw-in, dear listeners. Millwall keeping 2 men back. Blackburn do have to win this. They don't have any options. I've said already. I've got when it comes, it runs across the face of the goal mouth. Wow. 2.5 minutes. Ball spread. This is Brereton and Diaz, the Chilean international, over on the left side. They're going backwards again. They do like to pass the ball around in defence. Fleming just caught there. Seems to be their modus operandi. Got a very Latin today's show, listeners, haven't I? Carpe diem, now modus operandi. What else can I come up with? In vino veritas. I'm at the limit of my Latin now. 5 minutes in. Long way to go, of course. How's your nerves, listeners? You'll know the result by the time you hear all this. How's your nerves? My nerves are pretty ragged. Long throw from Zian now. 7 minutes. In it comes. Near post, there's Saville. Ball bouncing around. It falls to... Oh, it's at the crossbar! It's a goal! Must have bounced over the line. The referee has his watch on. Lions lead it 1-0. Massive first goal, listeners. You don't need me to tell you that the score of the first goal in Millwall matches invariably is the team that prevails, whether that be the opposition or ourselves. So that's a huge first strike. But calmness, dear listeners, calm your nerves. No calm nerves in this place. This is Jules Saville. What can he do? He's been clipped as a free kick. He's done really well there, Jules Saville, really well. Held the ball, he wasn't going to be able to get a shot away. Held the ball, got himself clipped on the edge of the penalty area, just left to the D. Good work, Jules Saville. Came third in the Player of the Season contest, which I thought was hard on him. Done really well. This is a chance, though, for the Player of the Season. Zian Fleming. What can he do? Fleming and Saville standing over the ball. Been very careful with his placement, Zian. Wall is lined up. Here we go. 1, 2, 3 shot. Oh, it's in the post! Amazing! Oh, he's getting offside! Oh, my word! I would not want to be that linesman over there, dear listeners, to give it as offside. So would the goal have been disallowed?
Yeah, late flag. They didn't run back. He's fucking flagged up.
Premier League in the conspiracy, listeners. The Premier League conspiracy. Ticking towards 21 minutes, coming towards the halfway point of the first half. Obviously, a dream start for Millwall with that early goal. And then the unluckiness of the disallowed one from the Zian Fleming free kick. Couldn't, but anyway, just to be one ahead at this stage would have been an ideal. There's a shot from distance, one each. 36 from the edge of the penalty area. He's put the ball into the net. He's decided he's going to go to the crowd and talk to the crowd. That won't work out well. Basic shot from the edge of the penalty beats Jules Long. Have to see it again. Don't know how much Jules Long in Italy was involved in that. I don't know. There'll be a lot of posts that Bart gets that. It should be Oliver Burke on the break, right side. He's got Watmore with him, ahead of him. It's a long ball forward for Watmore to chase down. Oh! Oh, the goalkeeper's wide open. Awful mistake by the Blackburn defence. Watmore's there, slams it over 2-1. Bloody hell, football, dear listeners. Basically a hopeful ball in from the right side by Oliver Burke. Really, if they look long, otherwise going to go through to the goalkeeper. If the defender hadn't touched it, it fell into the path of Duncan Watmore, found himself a wide open goal for 2-1 Millwall. 37 minutes. Awful mistake by the defender. Nice finish by Duncan Watmore. He had work to do there. 2-1 to the Lions, listeners. I can't do this kind of thing, listeners, anymore. I'm too old for this kind of nervous tension. I've been coming down here for 50 odd years. I can't do this kind of thing anymore. You're going to have to send somebody else to do it. Gary Rowett. Speaking before the game, describes the games of fine margins, that football cliche. Speaking to the news at Den, he says the playoff race could be decided by fine margins. It might be decided by the hair parting on that Blackburn Rovers defender. 38 minutes on the clock. Long way to go yet, dear listeners, but that's the kind of fine margin I think Rowett had in mind. Ball breaks. Oliver Burke, right side. What can he do? He's into the box. 3-1 Millwall! Slam him with authority! 39 minutes! The game exploded! Oliver Burke! All is redeemed, mate! All those criticisms! Everything we've ever said about Oliver Burke, I withdraw it. Members of the jury will disregard everything I've ever said about Oliver Burke. Beautiful finish. Just watch it on the big screen here. Beautiful finish. Cuts into the area on the right side, slams it home from the corner of the penalty area. Fantastic finish. It's well wide. That is half time, listeners. Millwall lead it 3-1. Have a listen. We'll be right back.
Achtung, Millwall.
Welcome back to the second half, dear listeners. The teams are now Millwall coming out, certainly. Blackburn have been out for a few minutes on the pitch. A few pointers. Apparently Ben Thompson's in the house, I'm told, by Mike Hayden in block 4. Big shout out to Ben Thompson. Offside calls. Apparently the Bradshaw offside call was inches, and the first goal by Watmore was over the line by inches. So there we are. Inches are the fine margins that Gary Rowett's mentioned at the start of the game, listeners. So it's going to be Blackburn to kick us off second half. They're going to be attacking the away end. Mill, of course, attacking the Coldblow Lane end as per the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle instructions of the Venerable Bede. Away we go. Huge 45 minutes. Cushion of a 2-goal cushion now. Dangerous cushion to have, some say. This is Diaz coming in from the left side now. Balls into the central zone. That's clipped on the D. A free kick for Blackburn. Dangerous area. 49 minutes. Shooting opportunity. Looks like it will be Brereton. He's the only player I know. He was in the World Cup, wasn't he, for Chile? Ticking towards the 50th minute. He's complaining about the wall. Taking forever to get this free kick taken, listeners. Here we go. Slammed home. slammed home from close. Long got down well, batted away, they had players in the box and slammed in. 3-2, 50 minutes. Long got down, spilled it. I don't think it would have been hard to expect him to take it, but it fell into the path of the strikers in the 6-yard box. There we go. Give free kicks away in dangerous positions, you're going to get punished, listeners. The superlatives in this game, listeners. It's the biggest game since 2002 at the Den. We're ticking towards the 60th minute, so that makes it the biggest half an hour since 2002. Given the stakes, possibly since 1988. Blackburn playing the ball back in our midfield now, passing back and forth. Here they come on the left side. 62 minutes. Edge of the penalty area. The 19 almost had a moment there. There's a shot from the 22, puts the ball in for 3-all. Diaz, decent strike in fairness. Beats Jules Long to his left. 3-3. Wouldn't be Millwall if it was easy, dear listeners, would it? It's a cliche we've all said in our time. This is Billy Mitchell now, Millwall pressing forwards now. This is Ian Fleming. Releases Tom Bradshaw, what can he do? Floats the ball across. Oh, just in front of Joel Saville at the far post. 64 minutes. Danny Mack. Ball floats forward. It's come through to Bradshaw, unfortunately dispossessed. This is now Blackburn. It is helter-skelter stuff out there, listeners. Manic. Blackburn pressing forward. 65 minutes. This is the 19 on the right side. They're finding space. That's going to go for a right-sided corner. Millwall defensively gone to pieces. In it comes. It's deep, deep, deep. It runs across the face of the goal. Blackburn keep possession on the left side. Millwall getting pushed back and back and back. That's a deep one. Long takes. 66 minutes, coming towards the halfway point of the second half. Lions went into it, of course, with that 3-1 win, that 3-1 lead. Pegged back now by Blackburn, who have pressed forwards in fairness to them. Game is wide open. Millwall have gone close themselves. Both teams need the win. Blackburn just outside the Millwall penalty area, trying to beat through the ball down the left side. That's going to be picked up by the 2. Booyer is with him. Not a player you'd normally associate with defensive work, but that's the ball off the lines, off the crossbar. Bloody hell. Headed onto the crossbar by Scott Malone. That was Brereton Diaz heading back across the goal. There's another shot in on the right side. Millwall can't get the ball clear, listeners. They keep giving it to this Brereton type, who is dangerous, and that's going to go for a corner on the left. Millwall dodge another bullet. Ball breaks, Ian Fleming spreads the play. This is Tyler Bury on the left side. Takes his man on, he cuts into the area. What can he do? Shots into the box, no one there. Battered away by the goalkeeper, but no one following in to pick up on that loose ball. Blackburn pressing forwards now. A goal for either side probably kills the game. There's a ball at the far post. There's a 22. 4-3. I think that's game, set and match there, listeners. Caught on the break, pressing forwards. It was going to happen. One side or the other was going to do that. It's a gutty finish to a magnificent afternoon, dear listeners. I can't see us making anything of it now. How to sum up this afternoon, listeners? Obviously a manic first half put us in a wonderful position. 3-1 up at half time. You couldn't have asked for any better opportunity than that. And then effectively we've let a 2-goal lead get slipped by us for a 4-3 loss in the end, which is very, very poor. And there's no other way to put it. It probably sums up the season. Some really good form on occasions, some really good performances, mixed with some really incompetent stuff. At certain critical moments, we've got ourselves into positions, and in certain other critical moments, more of them, we've let that slip away. So it's probably a summary of the season in some ways. As far as today's performance has been concerned, I think I haven't seen the goals back, so I'm speaking, obviously in real time at the end of a very disappointing result. Question marks for me today over the performance of Danny Mack. I think we looked a bit vulnerable at times on the flanks. This is Mason Bennett. Balls into the box, that's gone for a right-sided corner. Mill continuing to press hard into these final dying minutes. 2 minutes in, 2 minutes to go. We've looked a little bit vulnerable in the second half. They've exploited the flanks very well. They've come at us and scored some decent strikes from distance. Jules Long's gone forwards for laughs and giggles. In it comes, bouncing around. So yeah, the good, the bad and the ugly all mixed together in one cocktail. I think that's probably a summary of Millwall's season, the summary of this afternoon. It's been high octane watching. For a neutral, I imagine it must be a magnificent game to watch on television. As far as a non-neutral, there's a real sense of having let a great opportunity slip out of our grasp. Summertime of planning ahead, the ball bouncing around down there, it's going to be hoof clip. We'll see what the summertime brings, listeners. I can't believe that there won't be changes to this squad, let's put it that way. I think one or two players have had the big time nerves, and that's when you find out players, isn't it? There we are. Man of the match, I suppose, for the first half performance. You could say you pick out of Watmore or Burke. They've gone quiet in the second half, as is the whole side. I think I'm going to pick Callum Styles, who's given us, industrious running and some intelligence on the ball when we've needed it most. There it is. 4-3.
Achtung, Millwall.
Done well today, Michael. I've got to say, we gave that away in that second half, mate, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Hello, dear listener. I've made the walk over to Birdshit Corner. I think I'm leaning on some bird shit.
But you get immune to it after.
Get immune to it after a while, yeah.
We've got that in the Premier League, that bird shit.
Don't. It's heartbreaking, Nick. I mean, it weren't even for the whole second half. It was 15 minutes in the second half, we were still 3-2 up. It's just, I'm speechless,
You
mate.
just said it, you close it down, you go for this railway ball we keep hearing about, and manage the game. That's what decent teams do. I really question, and we were listening in the background, listeners, to the end of season awards, nice stuff and all that, but unfortunately, in the depth of it, we weren't good enough, Michael, and we weren't good enough on the field and off the field.
No, well, the thing is as well, you say we weren't good enough. The first half, we were unbelievable. We were unstoppable, in my opinion. But it's just like we just said a moment ago, and you don't want to condone it, if you will. But there's none of the little professional fouls, the shirt pulls, the trips, the things that break down the possession, that break down the game. There's no long balls.
No. And we've given up a 3-1 lead with the Premier League on the table. That's not top quality stuff. It's harsh, but it's a harsh business, Mike.
Nick, half time, mate. People around us, we were talking it'll be 4-5-6-1. That's how confident we were. It was done. Like we was saying, we hope we get fifth, because then it ideally would be easier than if we finish sixth. That's what we were thinking. I was talking to Aaron Paul in the press box, and he was saying to me how good a first half it was. But we've just completely fell apart. I don't think I've ever seen a team really in recent memory fall apart like that in 45 minutes.
No.
I really don't.
Space we gave. I mean, I take my hat off to Blackburn in the sense they found the spaces and exploited the flanks. Some poor performances out there as well, and especially in the second half. Jules Long, we've talked about many times, might not be the time or place to do it right now, but I think he's cost us goals on occasions. I also got to say, Danny Mack looked a bit lost out there today, Mike.
I thought McNamara, I know he's got his fans and I know he's got his supporters. He might as well not have been on the pitch. He couldn't hit the simple passes. When Diaz hit the post, it was him who had the ball and he got pushed off of it quite comfortably. And Ryan Loftus said it and made a good point. You look at Blackburn, they obviously saw that was the weakness, exploited it, and all the build-up was down that side. But one thing I will say, that Diaz, he is a class act, absolute class act for me.
As ever, it's one or two quality players. We've got quality players in Zian and to some level, I think, even Tom Bradshaw, but not good enough today, unfortunately. There we are.
No, and the thing is as well, I think going back to the game management thing, a lot of people criticise the substitutions, a lot of people criticise the manager, criticise the tactics. Everyone's fully in their right to do so. But for me, some of the players had to take some responsibility there, because there were times, as I said, you know, we've got the ball and we're sort of going towards the corner flag at 2-1 up, 3-2 up, 3-1 up, should I say, and even at 3-2 up. But they then decide to cut in and run inside and give possession straight away to Blackburn. That's naivety for me.
You and me have been to plenty of non-league games. If we saw it in a non-league situation, you say, oh, well, that's par for the Kent, the Scafford, the Essex Senior, whatever. Not at this level. I'm afraid in the end the listeners have been found wanting when the stakes got too high, and I think that's probably the message of this season. So,
and as I said on BBC Coventry the other day, and as I said to you, Nick, in private group chats, it was a staring contest and we've blinked.
Nice one.
Achtung, Millwall.
Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to the post-match post-mortem after that 4-3 unforgivable loss, in my opinion, today at home to Blackburn Rovers. Joining me are my fellow, what's the word for the post-mortem? It's a coroner, fellow coroners. Mr. Neil Fissler. How are you, Neil?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad at all. I'm probably doing a little bit better than Harry.
Harry, how are you, mate? Harry's joining us.
I'm not good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not good. This one hurts more than I thought it would.
Yeah. Just to, obviously, by the time listeners will get to hear this show, they'll be well versed in what happened today. But in a nutshell, we had the riches of the Premier League on our table at half time, whether lucky or justifiable. But anyway, we were 3-1 ahead at the break, and the glittering prize was certainly in sight at that stage. And then, Neil, we contrived to produce what I've called Sunday morning defending. I think I might be doing a bit of a disservice to the likes of the Essex Senior League and the South East Counties Eastern League, because we just went to pieces, mate, in that opening phase of the second half.
Yeah, we shot ourselves in the foot, didn't we? Big time. There's not much you can really say about it. I know people are going to expect an hour's worth of content.
I don't expect an hour out of this.
But it wasn't. But I think what we've got to be truthful about is we didn't cost ourselves the playoffs today. It's been a long time coming. I think anybody who's a realist, and I've said on Friday shows that we weren't going to make it, and for any one of a number of reasons, we took 1 point off Wigan, probably the worst team in the league. There were 6 games on either side of Christmas that we didn't score a goal in. We've had 3 or two lots of 3 games where we haven't scored. We failed to sign a striker. In January, we were too reliant on Bradshaw and Fleming. Do you want me to continue where it all went wrong?
I think you've summarised it very, very well, and I can't disagree with any of it. I mean, Harry,
despite all that, at half time we were in the playoffs in 5th.
Yeah, we were.
So despite all that, you know, you can say all that, but you know, we got into a position, despite all of that, which we can all have our own opinions on all of those points, but we've got into a position where Millwall, as we kicked off the second half, are in 5th place with a defensive manager that takes pride in defensive solidity, defensive a defensive shape, a defensive structure, and basically, for reasons that I can't understand, plays a goalkeeper that cannot save a shot from 25 yards. He is incapable of doing it because he is a terrible long distance shot stopper. And I've watched Millwall get close twice now in the last 6 years and basically fall to pieces because of not putting in the best goalkeeper at the club in goal. This is very simple. The fact that George Long can kick a ball is a fucking myth. Right? To kick a ball up to a 5'9" striker is fucking madness. Right? And do not get me wrong. It's not just George Long's fault. It wasn't just Jordan Archer's fault, because it is people who pick them. It is partly their fault. There is a reason that Bart has not been brought back in when he's been dropped. There must be a reason, because he was at fault for the goal at Reading. He's at fault for 2 of the 3 goals today. The Brereton Diaz one at the end is absolutely a fantastic strike from a guy that can do that. Why we've given him time and space.
Well, that will be my question.
Mystery.
But yeah.
Yeah, but that's what killed us. It wasn't actually Long's goalkeeping. To a certain extent, Long's goalkeeping was a contributing factor, but we were giving too much time and too much space on the edge of our penalty area.
I mean, you can't tell me that the second goal for them, 3 minutes into the second half, isn't a George Long error. It is a George Long error.
Yeah, but the other two, we've given them too much time and too much space. The first goal, the guy had too much time and too much space and put it in from 25 yards. Yeah, Long was unsighted, but I do think he could have done better. Certainly the second goal, and there was a couple of others where we gave them too much time and too much space. Yeah, but he is a poor goalkeeper, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am saying to you that he should never have been in that fucking goal today. You should never have been in the goal after fucking Wigan. There is no way at any other club. Maybe Man United, because the Gea at Man United's fucking Teflon and all. But it's a joke. It's a simple joke. And it comes back to this. Every other player has been dropped at some point this season. Every other player, probably other than Cooper, has been dropped at some point, has come in and out. The only person since he's got in this team that hasn't been removed is George Long.
Didn't Long miss a game because he was ill? He missed the game because he was ill, wasn't he? Yeah.
I do agree. I mean, George Long is not solely responsible. He certainly could have done better with the first equalising goal in the first half. There have been so many goals, listeners, today. I'm actually losing track. I'm trying to think back. We were 1-0 ahead. Maybe I haven't seen the offside against Tom Bradshaw, so I'm speaking pretty.
Definitely offside.
Definitely offside. People have sent me messages saying that. I'll take
close, but he was definitely offside. If VAR was in charge, it would have been actually ruled out because he was offside. Very, very good decision from the liner.
How about the goal? How about the equalising goal, Neil? I mean, you've seen it, obviously. It looked in real time like Long should have done a lot better with a shot from distance. How did you see it on TV?
It was one of those things where he got across, but it got through him. But you can't see if he actually saw it until it was right on top of him because it came from behind a couple of players. But could he have done better? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, was he unsighted? Yeah, possibly. So it's one of those that it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. The fact was the geezer shouldn't have got the shot in the first place to have even gotten in a goal.
I agree. I agree. I agree with that because I mean that's what went wrong at Wigan, Harry. I mean, giving players and other games I think that we've seen in recent weeks where we've just given time and space to players to take shots from distance, and lo and behold, they're scoring goals.
I mean, there's a correlation between taking shots from distance at George Long and them going in. I'd argue that I don't have the stats in front of me. I could do a big fucking piece on the amount of times that Bart gets beaten from 25 yards versus the amount that Long gets beaten from 25 yards. You can do some people have strengths and weaknesses. His weaknesses has been exposed that he doesn't move across his goal. And it's the same goal again and again and again. It gets whipped over, normally from a throw and restart, by the way. We're terrible at defending from fucking offensive throw-ins against us. We don't reset, we don't shuffle across quick enough. But that's something for Gary Rowett to pick apart another day. But literally, it's always the same one. It comes from one side of the box or the other side of the box. Long doesn't get across the goal quick enough because he's too close to the opposite post of where he needs to be. And that is why he doesn't get there. Some keepers are not very good at shots from distance. He's not very good at coming and claiming the ball or dealing with shots from distance. These are the two weaknesses that he have.
No, I agree. he's by no means the best goalkeeper we've ever had. I mean, I also just wanted to just come back. I mean, you mentioned, I think someone mentioned distribution, because that's the reason he's supposed to be in the side. I this is much vaunted, this distribution thing, because I mean, Neil, I can't see the skill in his distribution. I mean, it's basically punt it into the corners and set Tom Bradshaw running after it, or whoever's nearest. In the first half, I don't want this to be a podcast that relentlessly condemns Jules Long. I think there are other factors in it, but I thought, having gone ahead, nearly going 2 up, and then being pulled back, I thought it was to our credit that we actually had the mental strength to get back in front. I mean, albeit on the back of a defensive error from the central defender for Blackburn. I don't know his name, but we did well to take that chance, and then obviously the Oliver Burke goal to go 3-1 ahead.
Yeah, we should have done.
I just think at that stage
we should have closed the game out at that stage.
Close it.
Yeah,
Close
even
it.
though there was 45 minutes left, you would have thought that H made a good point. Very, very defensive manager who's got 2 very defensive assistants. Yeah, you would have thought that, okay, we might have conceded another goal, but then again, we could actually have caught them on the break and scored another goal. Yeah, we just don't know. But you'd have thought that we'd have tightened up slightly. I think one of the big points that has cost, or something that has cost us, is actually the injury to Cresswell. I think that since Hutchinson's come back in, he hasn't looked the same Sean Hutchinson, has he? I don't know if he's fit or if father time and injuries have just caught up. But Cresswell, Cresswell and Cooper looked very solid. I'm almost certain that with Cresswell and Cooper in the middle there today, we probably wouldn't have got beat 4-3, to be honest. I don't know what anybody else thinks about that.
I think we should have gone 5 at the back at half time, but that's what I thought we should have done.
I'm amazed he didn't do that, H, because that was the. I mean, how many shows have we done? We, the 3 on this screen, other people have done the show over the course of a long season.
Banging on for years about
hanging on about Rowett,
when it's needed.
When we wanted it,
yeah.
Oh dear, there we are.
This as well is like, normally when you first come in, and this you have got to ask. When you get beaten 4-3 at home, when you're leading 3-1, you do have to question the game management of your manager. And, we still finished 8th, and it's been a good season if you take it as just that. But it's not, because we've been in the playoffs for, out of 9 months of football, we've probably been in the playoffs for eight months collectively. And we've let it slip through our fingers by our own, bad results at Huddersfield, bad results against Wigan, bad result today. But his substitutes today were fucking weird, and I don't get it. I mean, the elephant in the room, I'm sure, I don't know if you saw where you were sitting, is Tyler Bury. I just, that certain people at the club have got to do better by young players, and this is a running theme, is that you don't put someone into a position that they can do what he's ended up doing. And that's bad man management by Gary Rowett, and his career at the club will probably be dead now. So that's Tyler Bury off, because you don't come back from that at the Den. I'm afraid that there's no coming back.
Yeah, but to be honest, from what I've been reading, he was being abused when he was warming up.
Was he?
Yeah, which isn't great, is it? Yeah,
that's in front of Nick. If that's happened, I can't see that from where I sit.
Yeah,
all I can say is that when he come on, he was asked.
Yeah, I'm going by Hoff.
The track.
Yeah, I'm just going by Hoff.
Very reliable source, Hoff.
No, they are quite balanced on it. Apparently, there were people giving it to him when he was warming up. But if he's actually stuck his fingers up or his tongue out or done whatever he's done, that's unforgivable.
He was on the pitch. He had the Blackburn right back come bombing past him, a 2-on-1 against Scott Malone, and he's trotting fucking 3 minutes after coming on, gets dog's abuse like anyone would. Any Millwall player would get that abuse for coming on and not putting the work in. We all know they would. And he reacted. And I compare Mr. Bury to a certain young player of the year that should be in front of him, in my opinion, in the Millwall pecking order. And, Gary Rowett's chosen to bring him on. I think with the benefit of hindsight, fucking Watmore's had a great game. Had 2 great games on the spin, actually. The one at Blackpool for him was good, and I've been one of his biggest critics. But you can't be free. Like, I can't. I haven't watched it back. I'm not going to watch it back because I don't want to put myself through 45 minutes of fucking pain again, if I'm being totally honest. But
no, you can't be 3-1 up with the Premier League as the prize and give up a 3-1 lead. I mean, for me, I think I said it on the radio show I did with Aaron earlier on. It fundamentally the squad and the manager have shown themselves to have fallen short. Whether that's not good enough, the results do the talking in the end, don't they? Because that was what was on the table at half time. That's what we had within our grasp, and that's what we've let get out of our grasp. And now there's no coming back from it because
I'll make a very big statement. We're not good enough, and we're not ready on and off the pitch for the Premier League.
I don't really think.
Oh, I agree with that.
I don't think that's radical. I just think that the fact is that when
ready.
you have a chance, you have to take it.
We would have been.
This is our chance.
Yeah, but it would have been embarrassing if we'd have somehow fluked our way through 3 games in the playoffs.
I mean, it might have been embarrassing, but the 80 million quid would have gone down nice. It would have built. That would have been a big step in the right direction. I'd have accepted 1 year of getting embarrassed, so I make sure this club's around after Berylson goes. That's basically how I feel about it. I know that we're not ready for the Premier League. I know we'll never be ready for the Premier League because we are who we are, and we have our own certain quirks and things that don't allow us to do that.
But we can put ourselves in a position. We've got the foundation.
Well, the strings that come out when we do fucking well is a reason in itself to not fucking want to go there. Because again, I was surrounded by strings today, fucking arguing over where they were sitting, standing in the fucking eye. It's just a fucking chaos. You're right, the club ain't ready for it, but all they see is a pound note. I mean, fucking, it's beyond me. Like even the fact that they've handed the trophies out after the fucking game. Whose fucking brilliant idea was that? That could not possibly go wrong in any way, shape, or form, could it, Nick?
The stadium was empty. It was a very, very flat. Obviously, in the aftermath of what's been lost, it was not going to be Saturday night out time, is it?
Yeah, the foundations are there, though, aren't they? We've made tremendous improvements off the pitch this year. Okay, we haven't got some areas of the business sorted out. Like I think the club shop, and that's still a pound shop, Mickey Mouse organisation.
But they may change, Neil, because they've changed the contractor that they work with.
Playing wise, this is actually a chance. If Rowett stays, I'm not convinced he's going to stay.
There's rumours online he's going to Palace.
Do we get any compensation? Are you going to offer the drive in there, H?
No, I don't care if he goes. I'll be totally honest. I think I don't want to go. I don't want to go to Crystal Palace.
I wonder whether he will go.
Train for SBC. It's a fucking nightmare for mine. Yeah. Probably quicker to get to West Brom.
I mean, that's the first question. That's the first question, chaps. I mean, will he stay? Will he go? And much derives from that because
3-year plan.
Well, it's easy to take the mick and out of Gary Rowett and the 3-year plan and all the rest of it. But it's a very Mill situation, boys. That we finished in the 8th position in the second tier, second division, as I always think of it. Now I haven't got the notes to hand as to historically that's a pretty good season. We haven't had many seasons better than that, and yet it feels like it's so flat and such a huge opportunity has been thrown away. I was watching one of those disaster videos where a young girl was feeding the seagulls and accidentally fed a mobile phone to it and it flew off. And it feels a bit like that. It's like we're giving them the stale bread and I accidentally give them an iPhone 14 and the seagulls shot off with it in its mouth. And that's how it feels tonight. Only times 100 probably, listeners. So it's a very Millwall situation. You can have a historically pretty good season. We haven't had many finishes above 8th, Neil, have we, over the years? And, and yet it still feels like we've been relieved of our wallet,
Yeah.
It's a poor championship. though as well. Sorry, Neil.
Yeah, I think it's a massive summer for the club. This is going to be a very, very big summer for the club. We've got to decide what we want to do. Do we want to tread water in the Championship, or do we want to push on? And if we want to push on, well, we're going to have to bring in a better standard of player, aren't we? That's even if the manager stays. If he stays or if he goes, who comes in? If he stays, will he be given enough money to strengthen? Because there's no two ways about it. There are players there that shouldn't be there. Bennett, for a start. How many games has Bennett played this season? What use has he been?
Not
Ryan
many,
Leonard. How much use has he been to us this season? Didn't play today in the one game where we really needed Ryan Leonard.
Carrying a knock, apparently.
Carrying a knock.
Same as Shackleton, I thought was unlucky. Apparently he's injured and wasn't 100%, so was on the bench if needed. But no, I mean, I think the areas that the club need to look at. We're on the brink of a summertime now, listeners, and I think along with every listener to this show, certainly all the boys on the podcast, including me, I think I feel a bit Millwalled up at the moment, so it's quite hard to think of positives out of today. But certainly, recruitment's got to be a priority. Neil, we've got to be thinking about the way we coach our players. Harry's point about how we handle young players, I think, is an important one. I don't know anything about the Tyler Bury situation, and I don't know what he's supposed to have done. I haven't seen any of that. But I do read what I read on social media. That's the modern world that we live in now. And Millwall is a very it's a contradiction. So we are a unique club in a sense because our support base will accept certain things and support certain things. And any sense that you are coming in with an attitude of any kind will get you a bad time of it at Millwall. And I don't know I don't know what's happened today, but it's unfortunate that because I think Tyler is a talented boy, but he's at the wrong club if he wants to give it back, because unfortunately that just comes back on you twice over.
Yeah, do you think he'll stay with us, H?
No, and I don't care if he don't.
No, Rowett we're talking about, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, Rowett, Nathan Jones out of work. Reputation damaged after the Southampton thing. Got Luton with a smaller budget, playing better football than what we do. There you go, for all the people that want to play football. I don't care. I know that our recruitment team will not sign good players, because out of that back four today, 3 out of the back 4 were not signed under Gary Rowett. The centre midfield, one of them used to play under the previous manager and was brought back because Middlesbrough couldn't afford his money, rumoured to be. Don't know how true that is. And from there, what they got? They got Fleming right, and the rest of the team. Burke's had 2 good games, maybe, in his loan spell this time. 1.5. Watmore's come good in 2 games out since January. I don't know if he wasn't fit when he's come, but he looks all of a sudden like he got a rocket up his arse after Blackpool. And
Watmore's had 2 or 3 good games for me, I think.
He's looked the better of the 2.
I think sometimes he goes. Sometimes, I mean, I saw him at West Brom. I don't think I'll ever recover from physically watching that, because that was hard to watch. Well, I suppose it was hard to watch today. Fucking hell, too much hard to watch shit. But I'm just, I don't know. I think you make a good point about being Millwalled out. This feels flat because, again, like, it's an elephant in the room. We still haven't got to 72 points. We missed out on 72 points once. We still didn't get there again. And we're supposed to be closer. And I don't think we are. I just think the league's shitter. And this season, the teams that have got more money than us underperformed. And we've done brilliantly with our budget. No, make no bones about it. We have done fantastically well with our budget. But unfortunately, that doesn't get you promoted when you don't get into the playoffs. So I don't know how to feel about it. Probably in a week's time, I'll feel all right. I'll fuck off on holiday like most of you will. And we'll all think it's a good season. But it was there. It was there for 15 blissful minutes at half time. I was working out. We were there. We were playing Luton over 2 legs, and I thought, we'd be all right.
Yeah, but I would have fancied our chances against Luton, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, I would have.
I wouldn't have fancied our chances against Middlesbrough. I think they're probably a lot better than we are. Yeah, but
I'd have fancied. I'll be honest. I would have thought that 2 games against Luton would have been fine, and a one-off game against Middlesbrough, the Millwall in me would have thought we'd rise to the occasion on the day. But we don't really do that anymore, which is my I mean, we did it at Blackpool, so that's a contradiction in itself. But recently, I don't know whether or not it's a bridge too far or whatever analogy you want to use. But some of the players that fucked on living on this Millwall roller coaster, do you know what I mean? I feel like it's caught up with a little bit, and the little team that could, and all this kind of shit. It must be exhausting to live in the bubble, and we only sort of half live in the bubble because we're fans at the end of the day. I don't know what it's been like at fucking the training ground, and I'm not gonna know. But
they did look. I mean, in the rightly as they should, but they did look absolutely devastated in the post-match. What should we call it? The ceremony or whatever you want to call it. They looked out on their feet at the end of the game, and they looked devastated in that. Like there's the last place on earth they wanted to be. They had their wives and kids there, so they probably got put on.
I think they gave it everything, and they were definitely emotionally attached. You could see that on the final whistle, that there were quite a lot of them sunk down on the floor. I don't know if the reality had sunk in or they were expecting everybody to come flooding in and start windmilling them.
There's one way to avoid a pitch invasion now, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that in itself was a death of Millwall tradition. On a coronation weekend full of tradition, that was very untraditional. Everyone fucking off at full time rather than making a mad dash past parading stewards doing fuck all.
There was that sense of deflation at the end of a very, very tough afternoon. But there we are.
I think it was shock. There weren't even anger around me. I don't know what it was like up where you were. There was like it was like someone had died. It was like almost.
I think it was because we were 3-1 up, and we thought, rightly so, that we were halfway there, and then to capitulate like that, you're almost. It's almost a bit of disbelief. It would be like the Brighton Cup tie when we thought we were.
City, yes.
When we thought,
well.
And it's the same sort of analogy, isn't it? That we was within touching distance, and at the end, you were that drained of everything, you just couldn't be bothered to feel angry, could you?
Well, we've gone from the.
No, H is probably different, but
no, I didn't stay for the first time for the fucking walk round and all that for the first time. I think ever since I've gone, I feel. I mean, I'm old enough. Some people don't think I am. I realised this earlier on. Phil Clark said something to me. Thought I was in my 40s, pretending to be in my 30s, but I generally am in my 30s, and I can remember the stern John in the last minute, and kind of I sort of said earlier on that I thought that happened all the time because we'd gone auto windscreen final and we'd gone to Wigan and got beat in a League One playoff final or Division 2 as it was then, and then won the league, and then the following year we got in the playoffs. I just thought, supporting Millwall, we're a good club. We might win stuff, at 11. No one had sort of opened the trapdoor to reality. And then 20 odd years later, it's the first time we've sort of been back or had a chance
50 plus years, Harry Warren.
The problem is, I know you've already had one heart attack. I mean, fucking 3-1 to 4-3. I don't know how many more times they can keep doing this to poor people like you.
It was no, I think the deflation today was it was such an atmosphere in the first half. It reminded me in some ways of that Fulham game a few years ago where we got beat 3-0, I think, in the end. It was under Neil Harris when the playoffs moved out of touching distance in the end. But there was that manic quality. It was the madhouse in the den, and you raised up so high only to then be dropped from a very high point flat onto the concrete. With a shambolic second half. So I think that was it certainly left me feeling nervously exhausted by the end of today. I'm sure everything. It's one of the great what ifs, isn't it? One of the great what ifs. I mean, they also.
I think if we were 4-1 up at half time, we wouldn't have drawn. No. To be honest with you, I think that would have totally a punch of stuffing out of them. And it would probably have encouraged Rowett to go a bit more defensive to protect what we had.
I think as well, with the benefit of hindsight, while I'm sitting here, the losses to Creswell, Murray Wallace, Ryan Leonard today, Shackleton, probably
big injury
hamstrings
list.
him a little bit
Big
to
injury
that.
list.
You
Yeah.
know, but
You were Styles because he was going very well when he got that sternum or whatever injury.
I
that
like
he
him. I
picked
want
up.
him to stay, to be honest.
I like Styles. I thought he did well today. Tom Bradshaw did his usual Tom Bradshaw running into the ground thing. Didn't have much joy. Unlucky with the disallowed goal. And of course, we've mentioned Burke and Watmore already. But for the first half performance, certainly they were on fire, and their best showings in a Millwall shirt. Chaps, I don't know about you, but I think we've probably reached the end of any analysis we can give for today's game and then the season. I just want to say thank you to you both for joining me tonight. It's not been an easy call, to be honest. This is the very last thing I wanted to do, listeners. I've already done a radio thing earlier on, but I've committed to it. This is what we do for you, dear listeners. So thank you, Neil. And thank you, Harry, taking time out your Saturday night, boys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, on Monday nights, you mean? And I've got a book to finish, so I'm going to go back to work.
Night. I can't even think straight, dear listeners. Huge thank you to you two for tuning into this show each week. Might take a few weeks off now from podcasting. I think I'm millwalled up. We'll be back at some point during the course of the summertime, I'm sure. Until the next edition of Achtung Millwall. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.
Achtung, Millwall.